Narayanam namaskritam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhagavati naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana, the supremest human being, unto the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as a miracle fact. Reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam 116, verses 25 to 30. While he pulls that up, we can do the lead up to today's verses. So Lord Krishna, he has departed the world, leaving those who have stayed behind grief-stricken, and the symptoms of Kali Yuga are beginning to manifest in the jurisdiction of the state of Maharaj Parikshit, right? And Maharaj Parikshit, he left the capital to conquer in all directions. And he did that. And everywhere he went, he was hearing the glories of Krishna and his forefathers, who were all devotees of Krishna, and also how he had been saved by Krishna. So there was just this Krishna Katha going on, this glorification of Krishna. And the personality of religious principles, dharma, was wandering about in the form of a bull. So in our culture, everyone and everything is a person, right? So he was a person, a bull person, because bulls are people. And he met the personality of Mother Earth, who was in the form of a, yes. And she was crying and crying and crying and grieving. And Dharma asked her, why are you suffering? And he gave so many different reasons. Could it be to this? Could it be to this? Could it be to this? But ultimately, what is the root cause of your suffering? And mentioned that he was only standing on one of his three legs, which have been discussed some in the other classes, what that means. And she said, ... today's verses. The earthly deity in the form of a cow thus replied to the personality of religious principles in the form of a bull, O Dharma, whatever you have inquired from me shall be known to you. I shall try to reply to all those questions. Once you too were maintained by your four legs, and you increased happiness all over the universe by the mercy of the Lord.
In him reside number 1, truthfulness, 2, cleanliness, 3, intolerance of another's unhappiness, 4, the power to control anger, 5, self-satisfaction, 6, straightforwardness, 7, steadiness of the mind, 8, control of the sense organs, 9, responsibility, 10, quality, 11, tolerance, 12, equanimity, 13, faithfulness.
There's 14, a lot, so maybe we can all say them together so everyone feels engaged, yeah? Okay. Absence of sense enjoyment. 16, leadership. 17, chivalry. 18, influence. 19, the power to make everything possible. 20, the discharge of proper duty. 21, complete independence. 22, dexterity. 23, fullness of all beauty. 24, serenity. 25, kind-heartedness. 26, ingenuity. 27, gentility. 28, magnanimity. 29, determination. 30, perfection in all knowledge. 31, proper execution. 32, possession of all objects of enjoyment. 33, joyfulness. 34, immovability. 35, fidelity. 36 fame, 37 worship, 38 pridelessness, 39 being as the personality of Godhead, 40 eternity, and many other transcendental qualities which are eternally present and never to be separated from him. That personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all goodness and beauty, Lord Sri Krishna, has now closed his transcendental pastimes on the face of the earth. In his absence, the age of Kali has spread its into everywhere, so I am sorry to see this condition of existence. Yeah, so we're just going to chant the first part of this 20, like basically verse 25. And we'll read the purport for that verse as well. Dharanya uvacha bhavan hi veda tat sarvam yan mam dharma nuprichasi chatur virvartase yenha padher loka sukha vahe
Bhavanti Veda Tat Sarvam
Bhavani Veda Tat Sarvam
Yanmam Dharma Urchasi
Yanmam Dharma Nuprichasi
Chatur Virvartase Yena
Chatur Virvartase Yena
Pader Loka Sukha Vahe
Pader Loka Sukha Vahe Bhavani Veda Tat Sarvam Yanmam Dharma Nuprichasi Chatur Virvartase Yena Pader Loka Sukha Vahe Bhavani Veda Tat Sarvam Yanmam Dharma Nuprichasi Chatur Virvartase Yena Pader Loka Sukha Vahe Dharanyuvacha Bhavani Veda Tat Sarvam Yanmam Dharma Nuprichasi Chatur Virvartase Yena I think the word for word is really long, and we're going to read again all of the qualities. So do you all feel okay with going to the purport? Oh, for all of them? This whole thing? We're going to do all the 40 qualities again. We can do it. Oh. Oopsie. Okay, great. Let's do it. We'll just read the purports for both then. I meant to do 26. Okay. Dharani Uvacha, Mother Earth replied, Bhavan, your good self, he, certainly, Veda, no, Tat Sarvam, all that you have inquired from me, Yat, that, Mam, from me, Dharma, O personality of religious principles, Anuprichasi, you have inquired one after another, Chaturvi, by 4, Vartase, you exist, Yena, by which, Padai, by the legs, Loka, and each and every planet, Sukha, Ahai, increasing the happiness. The earthly deity in the form of a cow thus replied to the personality of religious principles in the form of a bull. O Dharma, whatever you have inquired from me shall be known to you. I shall try to reply to all those questions. Once you two were maintained by your 4 legs, and you increased happiness all over the universe by the mercy of the Lord. Would anyone like to read the purport? Yes, Jonathan.
The prince principles of religion are laid down by the Lord himself, and the executor of such laws is Dharma Raja or Yamaraj. Such principles work fully in the age of Satya Yuga. In the Treta Yuga, they are reduced by a fraction of 1/4. In the Dwapara Yuga, they are reduced to 1/2, and in Kali Yuga, they are reduced to 1/4, gradually diminishing to the 0 point, and the devastation takes place. Happiness in the world depends proportionately on the maintenance of the religious principles, individually or collectively. The best part of Valor is to maintain the principles despite all kinds of odds. Thus, one can be happy during the span of life and ultimately return to Godhead.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
So again, verse.
And really pay attention when he reads, because this is going to be an interactive class. Really pay attention to what the qualities of the Lord are and maybe pick your favorite.
The earthly deity in the form of a cow thus replied to the personality of religious principles in the form of a bull. O Dharma, whatever you have inquired from me shall be known to you. I shall try to reply to all those questions. 1. You too maintain by your 4 legs, and you increase happiness for those in your present mercy of the Lord. In him reside truthfulness, cleanliness, intolerance of another's unhappiness, the power to control anger, self-satisfaction, straightforwardness, steadiness of mind, control of the sense organs, responsibility, equality, tolerance, equanimity, faithfulness, knowledge, absence of sense enjoyment, leadership, chivalry, influence, the power to make everything possible, the discharge of the proper duty, complete independence, dexterity, fullness of all beauty, serenity, kind-heartedness, ingenuity, gentility, magnanimity, determination, perfection of in all knowledge, proper execution, possession of all objects of enjoyment, joyfulness, immovability, fidelity, fame, worship, righteousness, being as a personality of Godhead and eternity, and many other transcendental qualities which are eternally present and never to be separated from Him. The personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all goodness and beauty. Lord Shri Krishna has now closed his transcendental pastimes to the face of the earth. In his absence, the age of Kali has spread his influence everywhere, so I am sorry to see this condition of existence. Krishna laid down principle for religion for our benefit. In the different yugas, religion was present in different capacities, and in Satya Yuga it was present 100%. But the next yuga, Dwapara Yuga, is 1/4 less. Then Treta Yuga, another 1/4 less. And then in the end we only have 1/4 remaining. And and when devastation takes place, and everything starts again over. And actually, in the end of Kali Yuga, religion will diminish almost to 0. What I explained in purport, he says that happiness in the world depends proportionally on the maintenance of religious principles, individually or collectively. Prabhupada then encourages that the best way we can be courageous in life is to maintain the religious principle despite obstacles. Be happy and go back home like to Godhead. As Sachinanda Swami, he often says, may I do the right thing, not the easy thing.
Yeah, I find that super powerful, and that's something that we can take practically with us into our day, right? Like when we are trying to chant our japa, the easy thing might be to space out, right? But the difficult thing can be to really go very, very deep and be attentive. And when we're doing our service, there might be something that is easy, but it's not going to be the thing that's most pleasing to Krishna, and it's not going to be the thing that's going to help us advance in Krishna consciousness. But it's actually, the thing is with this is the easy thing might feel easy in the moment, but in the future it makes you suffer. Whereas if you decide to do the right thing in the moment, it might be difficult, but in the future you will be happy, right? Because our happiness comes when Krishna is happy, when we please Krishna. And the last thing I'll just say on this is, doing the right thing. Yeah, we were just listening to a lecture the last few days of Keshava Swami, and it's a really amazing lecture about how to become empowered. And he says, one of the things that he says, there's many different things, but one of the things he says is be willing to take risk for Krishna and don't be afraid of difficulty, actually. That sometimes we think that difficulty is the opposite of easy, but actually impossible is the opposite of easy, but difficult is the in-between. And when we, the moment that we say yes to a service that's beyond our capacity is the moment that empowerment occurs. So Krishna is the source of all good qualities, and it is impossible to count his unlimited transcendental qualities. And it explains in the Nectar of Devotion that the jiva can have up to some portion, some minute portion of 78% of the qualities.
50 qualities out of 64. Krishna has 64 qualities, so if you do the math, 50 out of 64 will be 78%.
Right.
If you want to be very technical.
So all good qualities that we see in this world are just a spark of Krishna splendor, right? So, and we can develop some of these good qualities. Actually, we're going to talk more about it, but this list in today's verse is a totally different list than the list in Nectar of Devotion, which we will read the Nectar of Devotion list to you all later. But it just goes to show that there literally is unlimited transcendental qualities of Krishna. But then we'll explain later also that the other 14 out of those 64 qualities, like the jiva cannot have those qualities. Like those are only Krishna's qualities. So by Krishna's mercy, we can have some of his qualities, but he is the source of them and he has unlimitedly more transcendental qualities. So it's really inconceivable, the qualities of Krishna. So even if Lord Anantadev tried to estimate the qualities of the Lord with all of his innumerable tongues, because Lord Anantadev, he is an expansion of Balaram, and he has all of these different hoods. So he has many different mouths, right? So it's explained that even if he, with all of his many different mouths, is trying to glorify the Lord, like even what the Lord does in one moment, he can never do that in all of eternity. Because even the Lord's one moment is so special and so wonderful. So he's completely incapable of estimating the qualities of the Lord. So let's look at these qualities, and we want to go around the room and hear from you all, have some discussion. We can think of this like an appreciation circle for Krishna, right? On people's birthdays, we like to do appreciation circles for them. So actually every day should be like Krishna's birthday and appreciation circle for him. So we're going to go around the room and every single person is going to pick their favorite quality of the Lord from this list and share it and share why that is your favorite quality. Number one. Number two, explain how the Lord exhibits that quality. And number three, how they feel that quality of the Lord in their life, if you do. Yeah. One, say your favorite quality of the Lord and explain why it's your favorite. Two, explain how the Lord exhibits that quality. Number three, how you feel that quality of the Lord in your life. Are you up for this share appreciation circle? Say Haribo.
Haribo.
Okay, good. Making sure everyone's on the same page. So how about we start actually with Nitai, Prabhu, and then we can go this way. Come back to you. Okay. Presence, would you like to start?
Oh, yeah. Say yes to service is beyond.
Okay, I'm going to go with complete independence.
Nice.
And you see this in, I think I really like they talk about how you look at all of the demigods and you look at everything that's going on, and like everybody has a job except for Krishna. He's just enjoying, he's just having pleasure. So that's one of the ways that he displays that. All right, give me 2 other props. Sorry.
Yeah, so you already said that. So how do you feel that quality of the Lord in your life?
I mean, it's like he has this capacity to make like anything that he wants possible, like anything that would give him pleasure, anything that would give him joy. He can literally shift the world, and sometimes you really see it happen in things like synchronicities, for example, like these things that to me seem coincidental. Like I just get the sense that they're not coincidental at all. Like they're very meaningful coincidences because he has this independence to be like, okay, well, this maybe defies the laws of physics or the laws of time or like things like that, but this is where the person or like thing needs to be in order to like have his plan come into being. And so you kind of see that sometimes there are logic-defying things that happen. And then the third one.
I think you like already explained why it's your favorite quality.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, unless you'd like to add anything.
Nope.
Okay, Nate.
Thank you, Presence. When we were reading it, also complete independence, and then like right next to the discharge of proper duty, and I just thought like it was so interesting that those 2 things can exist because duty is like doesn't really like feel like it goes with the word independence a lot.
Yeah.
But I think I'll focus on the discharge of proper duty, and just in the ways that the Lord shows up for everyone. He's like in a way duty bound to everyone to reply in his in a personal way and be there for everyone, and and it's not like a taxing thing for him.
It's not like he needs to like have alone time after.
Yeah. And so just the ways that I feel like I've ever gotten reciprocation. It's just like he feels it's a duty to be there for us.
Yeah, super nice. Thank you.
Quality I'm picking is going to be tolerance. And chose this quality because it's very tolerant. All of us have been, Lord knows how long ago, said, no, I think I said, okay. There's this unlimited amount of universes for you. But choose one, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll be right here. Here we are. I can say for myself, I didn't learn much, but it's very tolerant and still carrying in my life in different ways. I don't know if this counts as tolerance. I'm trying to think of a pastime which shows tolerance, but I'm thinking that as soon the events of Lord Krishna's personal appearance was 5,000 years ago, and Lord Chaitanya was very recent history, 300, 500-ish years ago. So for the time between then, the time between those 2 pastimes is very long for us. For Krishna, it's probably like a moment. So as soon as he went back up, he said, you know what? I think that I should go back down there again. Looks like they need some more help. And just immediately went back down to material needs. He didn't have to. He could just said, no, I've already done my colleague in last time. But very merciful and he's very tolerant of us still learning our relationship with Krishna.
Thank you, Shanta.
Jonathan?
I'll take leadership for 400. The one that actually, like Nate said, the one that jumped out at me first, but I really can't explain in the question there, is the power to make everything possible. I just thought that was pretty amazing. I believe Krishna has that. He gives us that in some way, but I can't really explain how. Well, what with leadership, I feel like I can. My favorite quality of him, because I feel like in my life at a time where I needed some direction and I didn't really have anybody in my life, to support me in a way that I needed to, and kind of looked around and didn't really see anybody there. But I have felt like the presence of the Lord very, very strongly in a way I never had before for the first time in my life. And I just kind of went with it, So I felt like I was able to follow like the leadership of Krishna, even though I wasn't even exactly sure where I was going or where he was leading me to, or, but ultimately just having faith that I could kind of jump from one day to the next on higher direction as I was able to interpret it at that time. It led me to Krishna House. And here I've been able to, find the mentorship and the leadership that I've been looking for my whole life, honestly, and spiritual leadership, and then been able to read a lot of good books on what it means to be, spiritual leader, and I've been able to just see so many examples of that around here at Krishna House, and people becoming ashram leaders, from just interim bhaktis and just watching them make an impact on people's lives. So that's how he has been able to bring him into my life.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a question about number 3, intolerance of others' unhappiness. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
So it's making me think, is he like, oh, you're not happy, get out my face? Or is it like, oh no, you're not happy, I can't tolerate this, let me do something about this?
Number 2.
Number 2. That's what really going on in my head.
It actually explains it in the purport. Should we read that little section about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely number 2. So it says here, I'm not going to read the whole purport. I'm just going to read a little bit about that. So it says here we go. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the third quality, intolerance of another's happiness, can be subdivided into 1, protection of the surrendered souls, and 2, well wishes for the devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord states that he wants every soul to surrender unto him only, because remember that like real unhappiness is being separated from Krishna and real happiness is being with Krishna, right? And so the Lord sees happiness in that perspective, and he assures everyone that if one does so, he will give protection from the reactions of all sins. Unsurrendered souls are not devotees of the Lord, and thus there is no particular protection for everyone in general. For the devotees, he has all good wishes, and for those who are actually engaged in loving transcendental service of the Lord, he gives particular attention. He gives direction to such pure devotees to help them discharge their responsibilities on the path back to Godhead. By equality, the Lord is equally kind to everyone, as the sun is equal in distributing its rays over everyone. Yet there are many who are unable to take advantage of the sun's rays. Similarly, the Lord says that surrendering unto him is the guarantee for all protection from him, but unfortunate persons are unable to accept this proposition, and therefore they suffer from all material miseries. So even though the Lord is equally well-wishing to everyone, the unfortunate living being due to bad association only is unable to accept his instructions in toto, and for this the Lord is never to be blamed. He is called the well-wisher for the devotees only. He appears to be partial to his devotees, but factually the matter rests on the living being to accept or reject equal treatment by the Lord. So one time someone asked Prabhupada, why do you give so much mercy to Tamal Krishna Swami, who was one of Prabhupada's leading disciples? And Prabhupada used this example. He said, my mercy is there for everyone, but some take it. Like some take it more than others. So the Lord doesn't want anyone to suffer the unhappiness of being separate from him. So he offers that to everyone, right? That's why he comes into our heart as Paramatma millions and millions of lifetimes over. That's why he created this whole material world. That's why he created karma, to wake us up to turn back to him. But then we have a choice whether or not we take that mercy. Does that answer your question?
Yes. And so I will say that that is my favorite quality because why is it my favorite quality? I don't know. I think it's something I see it a little bit in myself when I see other people unhappy. I'm like, oh no, they don't know about Krishna. They don't know about Krishna consciousness. They need this. Maybe then they'll not maybe then, if they take to it, then they'll get happiness, they'll get real happiness. And I see this happening in my life, in everyday life. Because when you take shelter of Krishna, he protects you. I answer all three of the questions.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Brandon?
So first is favorite quality, right?
Yeah. And why?
Okay. I would say my favorite quality is that Krishna has both male and feminine qualities to him. Like he look like with his looks, and he's blue. So then that way it's like it don't matter what you look like, because Krishna is God and he's he's a color that nobody on earth is. So so anybody kind of feels related to, can kind of relate to him. Because I do believe that, it doesn't matter how you look or anything, that you should go after God, regardless of what your beliefs, what what you look like, where you come from. Like you should be accepted in this path regardless of what that is. And a lot of other paths, they got a white God, or they got a black God, or they got a god of a Indian god or something like that. Whereas here it's more like it looks almost like an alien in a sense, which is good because it makes it to where no matter what because I've had other people say, like for instance, I had a friend who was black and he said that he likes how Krishna has a black quality, to where he has multiple forms. And so I just like how there's multiple forms, because all of us, no matter where we came from, we can come to Krishna consciousness and be accepted. And what was the third question?
I think you answered it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I like the quality of responsibility. Why? Because Lord Krishna has given steps to responsibility. That's really you all have everything
invisible to your eyes. You need to follow them. That's why I think the responsibility as a human being, it's the life is given by Lord Krishna. This is a privileged life. Utilize this life as best as possible, and first and foremost thing, you need to love your mother irrespective of anything. So since the mother is the one who given the birth to you, so your responsibility to mother, your family, and to the world to make it a better place to live and follow in the footsteps of Krishna by following the praising the God Lord Krishna. That's my best quality of thing. But I have a question about another thing, which is a lot of people, and even I also have the problem, controlling of their anger. How can that be done if somebody is constantly making you to, constantly scolding you or constantly pressuring you some things which are not right? But if you don't answer that, then you're accepting to those whatever that they're saying. So if you forward and talk about get anger on that, then you should not do. So I always in this control. How should I approach this? That's what my problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the quality, and thank you for your question. Jai Shri Shri Gauri Ki. Let's stay on track with the qualities
Prabhu
of
will answer
Krishna.
your question.
We'll
just,
answer your
few
question
minutes.
later. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The quality that really jumps out to me is the power to make everything possible, because to us, the unimaginable, to Krishna, it's just like snap of the finger, he can do it, you know? And I kind of translate that in my own life as like Krishna has the power to fulfill all desires. So like when you call unto Krishna, when you pray to Krishna, when you show up for Krishna, he really reciprocates. And for me, that's like really significant. Even the desires that maybe we don't share to anyone else, like part of him is those desires. So this part of his energy is our desires in our like heart. So yeah.
Thank you. Bridget?
Krishna, I would say influence.
Speak into the microphone. Yeah.
Influence. I can relate to. Just going to Ratha Yaksha and giving so many like spiritual gifts. And on my way back, I was giving feedback and I chanted all the way. I was California and I back here. Chant.
So that's an example of how he influenced you so quickly in your life.
Devotees.
It does. That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing, Bridget.
I had also chosen intolerance of others' unhappiness. This is before we read the purport. Anyway, my conception was like, if you're suffering, Krishna always wants to be there for you. That's how I took it. And I was remembering how he was there for Draupadi. That's like the first thing that came to my mind when she was going through such a difficult situation. And I know it doesn't mean that we are not put into difficult situations, because even devotees are, but he's there. And I see that in my life, that when there have been difficult situations and I have been unhappy or suffering, he sent whatever support I need. Like I wouldn't expect, this person will come to me and talk to me at the right time. And he's been there through the holy names with me through all those hard times. So that's how I see it in my life, that whenever there's unhappiness, he's there to support.
Jackson, yeah.
My favorite is immovability, because his shelter is completely immovable, and Krishna's indivisible. So there's nothing separated from him. You can't move something that's indivisible. You can't move the absolute. And so his presence is everywhere. It's constant, it's total, it's whole. It's just a perfect, absolute, complete, total immovability. And that's just so yeah, I would feel so sheltered when my consciousness shifts from duality to seeing Krishna as the absolute. There's everything in here. There's this infinite array of things that we can see and see. Oh, there's a fan. There's a picture of Krishna. There's Shantanu. There's this. There's that. There's all these different things. So everything is Krishna's. You know, and so like when we bring it back to that immovable wholeness, it's like, oh, there's just so much peace in that. Things get so complicated when we're dividing.
Microphone?
Faithfulness. Surprising to see the quality on the list, because usually we are supposed to be faithful to Krishna and his devotees, but to see that he is faithful, I don't exactly know what it tells him the purport.
I think it speaks about that one.
Yeah, okay. So it makes it seem like he's faithful to his devotees, he reciprocates with the devotees' feelings, and he just doesn't like leave them at any circumstance. Like no matter how hard the devotee's life becomes, or like even if the devotee struggles, he's still like once someone comes to Krishna, he does not let them go, and I feel like that quality gives me hope through service. But even if I fail, Krishna is still like it's just in any other relationship, Krishna is faithful.
Thank you so much.
The one thing it does say here is the Lord never deviates from his word of honor. When he gives assurance for protection, the promise is executed in all circumstances. And he gave Arjuna that assurance. O Arjuna, declare it boldly, my devotee will never perish. So he gives all protection to his devotees. And he also says in Bhagavad Gita, he also says, for his devotees, he preserves what they have and he carries what they lack. So this is what he's told us. So this promise is guaranteed. And it is the duty of the pure devotee to be fixed in the discharge of the duty entrusted to him by the Lord or the Lord's bona fide representative, the spiritual master. The rest is carried on by the Lord without a break.
So Prabhuji, back to your question about controlling the anger. Can you repeat that again? Can you repeat again the question?
It was like,
So how to control the anger, because that is a very difficult quality, but God can, because God is God, Lord Krishna cannot do anything. But as a human being, how we can control our anger? There is a way we can control if somebody does not say anything. But if somebody is saying, pressuring something which is not right, we constantly listening, and if you don't answer that, means you're surrendering to those things. Means you're not getting anger, means you're surrendering to this. So you get anger, then you say something. Okay, what you're saying is not right. So how can we make our anger if somebody is doing something to you or talking about wrong about you? Should we answer them or we should just keep quiet to control our anger? That's my question.
Thank you so much. as a devotees of Lord Krishna, we don't like to fight. If somebody attacks us, but if somebody attacks Krishna or his devotees, or abuse them, or diminish them, offend them, then we respond. So, if somebody offends us personally, there's different ways in different ages, prescription, how to react to that, and some of them are quite serious, even like I'm not mentioned here, but I will mention one which is probably for our case is the best. You just walk away from the situation. It should be time saver first, and also saving relationship if it's dear person to us, some friend. And if it's personal insult, we don't like to fight. So, but if it's feedback, we take it graciously. If it's truth, we take it. It's untrue, so we can just again say, but not take it personally, because it's person is just blasphemy. So we have to really make a distinction. Is what person saying is truth? And it really hurts. But I accept this truth and hurt because it's good for me. And it's humbly accepted. But if person is blaspheming, so how are we going to react there? And again, it's personal situations according to certain time, place, circumstances. But general answer would be just walk away from situation. Don't indulge in unnecessary fight with a person and protecting something which is not truth. I mean, like protecting ourselves from being insulted. Being insulted, we're like, okay, thank you so much, and just walk away. We don't like to fight this person. But if somebody gives us feedback, we're like accepting it. Yes, feedback is valuable, and we want to correct ourselves. And we're very thankful. We take it in a constructive manner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would also say, and this actually ties into what I wanted to say at the end of the class anyways, that the most important quality for us to cultivate is humility. Lord Chaitanya, he is Krishna, and he came to teach us how to be a devotee, and he gave us 8 verses, the Shastakam. And in that verse is Trinadapi Sunichana, Tarodapi Sahishana, Amanina, Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. That says that one must be more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, and willing and eager to offer all respect to others and not receive any respect oneself. And in that way, one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. So we understand that if we attentively chant the holy names of the Lord constantly and avoid the 10 offenses, these qualities will be developed. But also, how can we chant the holy names constantly? We have to develop these qualities. And I was just actually reading yesterday in a book that actually tolerance and respect come naturally when we develop humility. So if we just want to focus on one thing, focus on the humility, right? So this humility is not low self-esteem. Actually, humility and real confidence in Krishna and how amazing Krishna is and Krishna's mercy is real humility, realizing that Krishna is great and we are small. And pride and low self-esteem are 2 sides of the same coin. So we have to be able to take a humble position and tolerate. And depending on who is provoking us, sometimes we can walk away, and maybe if it's our family member, we can't. So I think understanding and compassion are very key in this. Asking open-ended questions. How are you feeling? What did I do to make you feel this way? What do you need? Open-ended questions to more deeply understand the person and where they're coming from, to open a conversation and dialogue, and in many ways, conflicts can be resolved in that way. So thank you. And should we, is breakfast outside? Okay. So Champakalata ki, Shri Prabhupada ki.